moving the camera on the way by. That's right.
Hello, everyone. I guess we're going to talk about our stretch from leaving my parents at Scott Mountain through to meeting Fraser's parents and spending some time with them in Ashland. So I guess upon leaving my parents, we hiked through. It was probably one of our favorite stretches of the trail, it was a really difficult trail. Actually, it was up and down and out of canyons, but we went through Russian Wilderness, Marble Mountain Wilderness, and
Infinity Peaks, I want to say.
something like that. Anyways, it was just a really gorgeous bit. A lot of walking along ridges, awesome views of the Marble Mountains. I feel like people call that area Trinity. Was it right before?
Yeah, it might be Trinity.
Yeah, I think that's part of the Trinity Alps is what they call it. And apparently when there's a higher snow year, it sort of has an Alps-like look to it.
Yeah, sometimes refer to it as like a mini Sierras too.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. We ended up, once again, we were kind of pushing the pace a little bit to try and meet my parents. We ended up hiking late, not getting into camp at like 10:30 a lot of nights. Hiking in the dark isn't the most fun, but we sort of needed to make miles. That's generally what we did for the first couple days. Good views.
Awesome views.
Lots of up and downs. Huge descent into... We picked up a couple days extra food in Syad Valley. Probably about a 10-mile straight descent into Syad Valley.
Syad Valley was a pretty crazy spot. It's kind of a quirky town. They had this whole state of Jefferson thing where they wanted to branch off from the U.S. in sort of a tongue-in-cheek way, and we met a couple crazies, which was interesting.
Had a guy named Grey Wolf who told us all about RK mind control and how Blu-ray players are trying to kill us.
It was an interesting time. Anyways,
good.
I guess from there we picked up some resupplies, ate some cereal, and then started to climb back out the other side of Syad Valley, which is about 5,500 feet up. And we kind of banged it out that night, and then came up onto the flat bit and came into a spring in the evening.
Yeah, so I dipped off trail to go to the bathroom and left Dylan hiking ahead of me. It was probably about 9, a little after 9. It was starting to get dark.
It was dark at this point.
Yeah, it's getting dark, and I got back on trail and started going to catch Dylan, and he was standing waiting for me in the middle of the trail. Sort of, I guess, seen a big pair of eyes in front of him, done some talking, and just decided to wait for company. We kept going. We knew we were near the spring, and we spotted another pair of eyes in front of us. We were just kind of talking loudly the whole time.
These eyes were like right on the trail in front of us.
Yeah, it didn't look a lot like a deer. We were kind of unsure. We just kept talking loudly, hoping it would go away.
Standing in the trail, banging our poles together, singing a lot of Canada.
Yeah, instead it started moving down the trail straight towards us, and we could kind of see down to our right a bunch of tents.
Camped at the spring.
Yeah, tents lit up, camped at the spring, so we kind of just hopped off the trail and bushwhacked, decided to give the animal the trail. Really quick, I don't even think we made dinner that night.
No, we had like no water. The spring, it turned out, was just this stagnant pool with stuff floating in it. And we were kind of in this big meadow area, and we pretty much just threw up a bear hang and hopped in our tent and went to sleep for a little bit.
Yeah, woke up probably only about an hour or two after we'd gone to sleep. I woke up to Dylan being like, "Hey man, something's chewing on your bag, something chewing on your bag." Which isn't really what you want to hear, so I was pretty asleep and was like, "Nah man, it's fine, it's fine." And he was like, "No, we need to check this out." So he popped his head out, kind of half expecting to see a bear. Instead it was a deer, and we were like, "Oh, that's a relief, it's a deer. We'll just scare it off and go grab the bag, bring it closer, and go back to sleep."
This deer was pretty unconcerned with me having stuck my head out. It was just sitting there licking away at Fraser's bag and chewing on it.
Yeah, licking with salt stains off my bag.
If you can picture it, the two of us hopped out. We're both wearing only boxers in the middle of this big meadow, and we've got each have a trekking pole in each hand, and we're just making bluff charges and yelling and screaming and smashing our poles at this deer, and he just does not care. He's just continuing to lick on Fraser's bag. His friend with a full rack of antlers is standing behind him, and they just were really unconcerned with us being around.
Yeah, we did everything from like banging poles to yelling at it to kind of charging it. The Cranbrook deer video scared us away from getting too close. Eventually we scared it away from my bag, grabbed my bag, and like a little bit of other stuff and tucked it under the vestibule with us. Grabbed our poles, brought them in beside with us. Got back to sleep for a really brief period, and then we kept waking up to the deer's head underneath the vestibule, right beside our faces, still trying to go for some of our stuff. And so every like 20 minutes, we were lying there in and out of sleep, just banging on the wall of our tent, yelling at this deer.
As he would just continually sneak up, tuck his head underneath our vestibule and try to start licking our stuff, he managed to pull the toilet paper out and sort of spread it around our whole camp. And he managed to walk off with my bandana, which he pulled out as well.
Yeah, which is Dylan's PCT bandana, gone forever.
Not too upset.
Yeah. So we had a pretty terrible night's sleep that night. The other people at our campsite, who for whatever reason didn't get bothered by them at all, definitely thought we were
Crazy.
a little soft.
Thought we were being scared by deer, and we were like, they're in our tent.
Yeah. And so from there we hiked a couple of 30-mile days, and then we were meeting my parents at 4 o'clock on the 23rd, I guess. So we did about 25 miles that morning. Popped out to the I-5. Well, actually, before we'd gotten to the I-5, we weren't sure if we were in the right spot. And I saw my granny and mom sitting in lawn chairs on a little side section of the trail, which was pretty sweet.
It's pretty awesome. They had the Coleman stove out with chicken fajitas for us. Fraser's dad had a mini keg,
A little 5-liter keg of beer.
which was pretty nice. And we hung out, managed to share some of the
Share some of the
some
wealth.
of the magic with with some other hikers that came by that we knew.
Some cake from Granny with fruit and whipped cream and
It
stuff.
was really good.
Yeah, it was a pretty amazing scene. Thanks to my parents for that.
Yeah, thanks a lot. And from there, we trucked into Ashland, stayed in a motel. We spent the next day resupplying. We got sent out packages for our Oregon and Washington, so we're pretty much going to be on trail for the rest of the trip now.
Yeah, hoping to make pretty good time, I think. That night, we decided to, thanks to Granny Sheila, take in a little bit of culture. We went and watched the Two Gentlemen of Verona. Ashland's a big Shakespeare town.
Like all the streets and bars and everything are named after Shakespeare characters and things.
So we went and had dinner and then watched Shakespeare play in a beautiful outdoor theater.
Which was awesome. Thanks, Granny.
Yeah, it was really good. Next day we woke up early and took off to do, with my dad in tow, I guess, a little 17-mile stretch. We decided to slack pack it. So from Ashland, the I-5 to Green Springs, which is a little resort, we hiked, left about 9 a.m., hiked 17 miles with my dad.
Cruised.
Yeah, cruised pretty good. It was nice, some good views of Mount Shasta. And then we showed up to where my parents had gotten a cabin at Green Springs, which was really sweet. So we got off the trail after slack packing and hopped into what I think might be the best shower I've ever taken.
It had a different nozzle, 2 nozzles
Yeah,
on
it
each
had
side.
multiple shower heads.
Oh, it was nice.
It was really good. We stayed.
Highlight of the trip.
Yeah, we stayed there. We had a big barbecue that night. The cabin had a barbecue. And then had lunch at the Green Springs Cafe the next day and got out of town at about 1 or 2 o'clock, I guess.
Yeah.
I think that's all.
And that's about it.